Olympics. Elizabeth Price knows that, but she also knows, and the reality is, a 10th better here and a 10th better there, and you're not in that situation. She's thinking Rio in 2 years. Sam McCulloch is a California guy and a Michigan Wolverine, an NCAA champion who knows what it's like to go to the Olympics. But he also knows there's unfinished business there. So here he stands in Greensboro, North Carolina, ready to compete in an event called the American Cup. Get the gold medals ready.
Oh, unbelievable!
We're live in Greensboro, North Carolina, and while some still unpack from Sochi, we're on the road to Rio. And it sort of begins here today in the 2014 AT&T American Cup. I'm Al Troutwig along with a couple of Olympic champions, and you're looking at a hopeful Olympic champion, Elizabeth Price. Her teammate is Brenna Dowell from Kansas City, Missouri, and this all started on the vault.
And it is where the Americans have been so dominant. I called her the second best vaulter in the world a couple of years ago. I think she might be the third now, but that was huge.
And Brenna Dowell doing the same exact vault, the 2.5 twisting Yurchenko, which was so difficult just a few years ago, and everybody seems to be doing it and making it look so easy.
Everybody's doing it from the USA, very few from around the world.
That's Tim Taggart with Nastia Lukin. Andrea Joyce is also here. Price and Dowell separated by a 1/10 of a point. And then Julia Steingruber of Switzerland, inspired by the recent Olympics, and we'll explain why as we move along here.
And this is where it gets very exciting for Brenna. On the uneven bars, she has upgraded and redone her whole routine. Some high flying moves coming up.
Starts off right away. Big release. Beautiful. Now this is where it gets really crazy. Watch, half turn, and then, oh, beautiful. Down to the low bar. A young lady named Beth Tweddle did that first. Brianna does it fantastic as well. Another huge piece of air. She has looked rock solid the entire week in Greensboro.
Okay, Nastia, how good was that?
You know, that was very good. I talked to some of the judges earlier this week, and they said she has about 5 different versions of this bar routine, depending on how every move goes, because there's so many different connections.
Coach Al Fong is one of the legends here. He seems to have a gymnast ready to go every year.
So watch this right here. This is just wild. Does a huge release, gonna change her hands, do a half turn, and then flip around like she's a little bit, looks like she's in a blender there for a minute. But super cool and super difficult.
Me too.
A lot of sportsmanship in this event so far today. Now the men move to the second half of their competition. And to watch Sam McCulloch for 10 seconds is to like Sam McCulloch, I think. You want to know him. He's a great teammate.
Absolutely, and he has been just spectacular so far today.
He's right in front of us, and a few minutes ago, a couple of young girls said, "We love you, Sam McCulloch." He looked at them, smiled, and gave them a thumbs up.
Gonna do a vault that has a blind landing, 2.5 twists off the horse. Oh, and just the smallest little hop to the side there. Up until that point, Sam had stuck cold 3 dismounts perfectly.
Now, Nastia, was it young girls behind me, or was it you who said?
It was a combination.
See him there with Fabian Hambuchen. Actually, Sam was in Michigan training, or Hambuchen was in Michigan training with Sam. But you see this right here, just the smallest hop to the side there. Goes a little around the side, but such a powerful young man. I remember watching him as a kid and thinking, it's not really possible to be as powerful as you are, Sam, at this age in your life.
14.966 on the vault. Tim, in his days so far, I said to you, does he wish the Olympics could start today?
Absolutely. And you'll see it right here. Look at that. Bam. We saw other athletes stumble on that pass. This is new for Sam. It's called an air flare. Very cool. One skill that gymnastics stole from some of the break dancers. And this is 101 gymnastics for Sam Mikulek. Big air and rock the house on the landing. Pommel horse, it's always precarious. But he was as perfect as I've ever seen him today on horse. Still rings. What do you know, man? That is classic right there. He says the looser he is, the better he is in competition. You're not going to see this guy with a towel over his head. He is always out there, always cheering, fist pumping.
This does not include his last score. This is where we stood at the halfway mark, and Mikulek led Nonomura of Japan by 7/10. That could likely go up with that performance just now. Once again, the gymnastics scores, no more perfect tens. We've been talking about it for years now, and so to put the scores in perspective, we came up with a green, yellow, red scoring guide. Green means you're good. Within your start value, you didn't get that many deductions, and you can think about moving up in the standings. Yellow is sort of a cautious one. Not sure. It depends on how your competitors did, and red is not good.
And just so you know, well, you see the yellow right there, and that was a little harsh, I gotta say.
I think I have to agree with you, Tim.
Yeah.
She had great execution throughout the whole routine. Definitely a high level difficulty as well.
And this is about as green as you're gonna see right there. 0.6 in deductions. His maximum score of 15.6. That is a very big number.
Now we go to the man in second place, Shogo Nonomura. He's done some spectacular things already today.
I love this kid. He is so elegant and so precise in his gymnastics. He's going to do the exact same vault that we just saw from Sam. Once again, a blind landing. Oh, that was very good. Very clean in the air. Instead of the hop to the side, you got that little hop forward, but excellent.
So Nonomura says, not so fast, Sam Mikulek. A lot more gymnastics to come. This is the most important international gymnastics event annually in America. The AT&T American Cup is brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. We're back live in the Greensboro Coliseum. Hi, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig, along with Tim Daggett and Nasia Lukin, who know what it's like to win an Olympic gold medal, and they also know what it's like to win the American Cup. So, Tim, put us in the Tim Daggett time machine and take us back to where we are now before London. 2 years, a night in Worcester, Massachusetts. What happened?
Well, actually, it was really a coming out party for a future star. Nobody knew it at the time. I didn't know it. She was in her first major international event, the American Cup, and she absolutely rocked the house. Allie Raceman, she ended up anchoring that team, of course, in 2012 in London, and, of course, winning it for the team on floor exercise, the last event. She was so composed at such an early age, and that's exactly where we're at right now, 2 years before the games.
So maybe we see an Allie Raceman today. Nasia, when you won this event before your gold medal, what did it mean to you?
Well, this is the competition that every little girl wants to compete at. Nadia Comaneci won, Mary Lou Retton won, Carly Patterson won.
You won.
I did win, and so, it's a very important competition. It is early on in the season, so I think we're going to see a lot of new skills, new combinations, maybe not quite what we're going to see at the World Championships later this year, but it's a great start for everybody.
So Americans atop the leaderboard, both on the men's and the women's side. The competition continues here in Greensboro, North Carolina on NBC after this. Mura gains a little bit on Sam McCulloch with a 15.033 in the vault. What's been bothering him, Tim?
His back. For 3 years, he says it has been relentless, and he tweaked it. I saw it on the landing of his vault, and he just has a problem with it spasming up. He says every day he deals with it.
Now you're looking at the Bronx kid, John Orozco. When I say unfinished business at the Olympics, what do I mean?
Well, absolutely. On pommel horse in the second rotation for Team USA, the wheels came completely off, and John just struggled like I've never seen happen. He is a tremendous athlete and really good on pommel horse, but it was disastrous. Just last week at a re-ranking meet called the Winter Cup Challenge, he fell twice on pommel horse both days, but today he was able to put together a strong set, and he's been very good today. Not at his very best, though.
Mom and Dad are here agonizing through every minute. There you can see she will not watch. While he waits, we go across the room to Vanessa Ferrari of Italy, the 06 world all-around champion. What is she good at, Nastia?
You know, she has some great skills on the uneven bars. Her form is a little bit iffy sometimes, but she does show great skills on the bars. But I think where she excels most is on the floor exercise, where we'll see her later today.
Absolutely. She won a medal at the last World Championships on the floor. Just barely finished out of the medals in 2012. One of those tiebreakers that heartbreaking. She lost to the great Russian Mustafina after the tiebreak. This right here is her big skill. Struggles on it sometimes. Connected to that. Done well. But as Nastia said, sometimes the form not that great, and some of the handstand positions aren't perfect.
Meanwhile, John Orozco has been what the traffic usually is on the Cross Bronx Expressway, and that is standing still. And finally, he'll get a chance to move.
And this was another event that John really struggled on at the Olympic Games. He has since gone home and tried to completely rework his technique. Last week in Las Vegas at that Winter Cup, it was much better. It's a handspring, laid out somersault, 2 twists. And he put it to his feet. Well, you see him, he's not really that psyched about that.
Watching him this week in training, he didn't even make it on his feet, so he's probably a little relieved, but he turned so early from the horse, which makes it a little bit difficult to get that rotation.
And that's what he's trying to work on. He's trying to rebound off the table, but you see, he doesn't really get any extra height at all. Thank God he's a cat in the air, because he puts his feet down, and that's gonna get a good score, but it's not what John is looking for.
So I tucked my knees like this, and I was like, please make it. And I was like, yeah.
So a little begging from John Orozco. What's his day been like, Tim?
Well, he's been, like I said, he's been very good. He can be better on every single exercise he's done so far. But this was beautiful right here. First piece of gymnastics, great landing, great rhythm out of it, and pommel horse, where he has struggled, was fabulous. This scissor sequence, I don't think anybody in the world does it better than John Orozco. Perfectly straight hips. Where he's usually great is on those landings. Well, you see, that was not just one step. He actually took 2 steps there. So very good, but not at his best.
We await his score. At the vault is a Russian-born Andrei Likovitsky, competing for Belarus. He's been to a World Championships, but he hasn't been to the Olympics. And Nastia, in your sport, that's pretty much everything.
It's all about the Olympic Games, you know, and it's just the World Championships is actually a much bigger competition in the gymnastics world. But of course, we all dream of going to the Olympic Games.
As you said, he's Russian-born. He tried for many years to be a member of the Russian team, couldn't make it.
So this could be his ticket.
Yeah, actually changing his country, his citizenship. He still does go back to Russia.
How do you feel about that?
You know what, when he told me that he basically still trains in Russia, you know, I don't agree with it, but it's within the rules, and so he's here, and he's Belarusian here.
Your father is Russian. You competed for the United States. What do you think about it?
Well, yes, I was actually born in Russia, but moved over to the United States when I was 2. And, you know, my parents got their citizenship, which ultimately gave me dual citizenship at a very early age, and never had any intention to compete for Russia.
A long trip to the United States. He probably thinks that right now in his life, this is about as cool as it gets.
Yeah. I asked him what his best quality was, and he paused for quite a bit. And he says, you really have to want it, and you have to be willing to come in, day out, and do the hard work. And I'm willing to do that. An easier vault than we've seen from the other competitors. Just a double twist on that, but very clean. He's a very clean, good-lined gymnast. Doesn't do the super powerful, high-flying stuff that you see from some of the other athletes.
Nastia, what do you think of when you think of men's vault compared to what you did?
Well, I did a much easier vault than any of the competitors here. So, you know, the horse is definitely high, a little bit higher than on the women's side, but they get so high up in the air, which allows them to do extra flips and extra twists, which is so much more fun to watch for me.
And he's actually capable, I would say. I'm certain he trains that with an extra half turn like we've seen from some of the other athletes.
As he just said, because I understand Russian, he is working a 2.5 twist.
There you go.
Wow, that's value right there. Okay, so remember Elizabeth Price. She was the alternate. And when the alternate, you don't march, you don't get the bag of goodies, you don't get all the good stuff. She wants the Brazilian good stuff.
Absolutely.
And if you want to see high flying, you want to watch Elizabeth Price on the bars.
First time I was ever in a gymnastics gym. It was 1980. It was in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Really?
Bill and Donna Strauss. Think about it, 1980. And since then, to this moment, and with her, they have churned out great gymnast after great gymnast.
Kristen Maloney, Hope Spivey, Kim Kelly. She flies high, though, as we said. Big release. Has a nice line.
One of my favorite combinations that's done here today.
That was great. She is the leader. Had that huge vault in rotation 1 for the women. Oh, what a fighter. What a fighter.
That's Donna Strauss.
Yeah, Donna Strauss has told me sometimes we need to point her in the right direction, but most of the time with her husband, Bill Strauss, she says that Evie is pointing us in the direction and saying, let's go.
How much do they want it? How much do they want a gymnast to give them a ticket to the Olympic Games? Let's go back and show you what happened at the Olympic trials.
And she placed 4th in the all-around at the final Olympic trials.
Now at that moment, I think they thought maybe they had made it.
Yeah, no, it was close. And Bill, it's all about the kids for Bill and Donna Strauss, and it shows great compassion. He's not crying yet, but if she wins, I guarantee there'll be another cry.
You know, as you get older, I think you learn to cherish. And now here's Sergio Sasaki, and you know what he's thinking about 2 years from now, being in a room like this and hearing the loudest roar he's ever heard.
Absolutely. And he's good enough to actually go and compete in 2016 on an event like this and win a medal. He was 5th at the last World Championship. Super hard. The hardest vault we're seeing in the competition. Handspring double front with a half turn.
Oh, man.
Jeez.
Talk about high and far.
Wow.
And from Pennsylvania to Greensboro, North Carolina, Elizabeth Price trying to win an American Cup, and a 15.2 may help her do that. You're watching NBC Sports. There's an overwhelming American tradition in the AT&T American Cup. And so it continues here this afternoon. Elizabeth Price and Dowell have the lead. Steingruber of Switzerland behind them. The men's leader remains Sam McCulloch from California and Ann Arbor. His lead is at .63. And then Daniel Purvis of Great Britain, who helped create one of the great days in the London Olympics. NBC's coverage of the 2014 AT&T American Cup continues in Greensboro, North Carolina. Men to the bars, women to the beam. Is next on the parallel bars, and to describe his career you could use the German word wunderbar. 9 worlds, 11 European championships, a couple of Olympic medals, 3 times in the Olympics. And if you look at his career, he never had an injury that forced him to miss a calendar year of competition.
It's absolutely incredible. It really is.
He's got 9 world medals, 11 European medals, and 2 Olympic medals. The only thing this man doesn't have is an Olympic gold medal. And that's what drives him. He was taking this meet very seriously. Came out a week and a half early and has been training with Sam McCulloch at the University of Michigan. He possibly tells me that he'll do a guest semester next year at some point. Very strong routine, little slow on that dismount, but he gets it around.
When we first saw him, he wore glasses and didn't have to shave. Now he's a real warrior.
Absolutely. And you know, Nastia, he's coached by his dad as well. He says it's been challenging.
It has, especially as he's gotten older. He says trying to make his own training plan and said, you know, I think I should listen to my dad.
Now, Nastia, can you talk about the beam without cursing?
I think the most important thing about the beam is the deep sigh of relief as
And
soon as it's over.
and tricky mount right there.
New combination.
She would have wanted to keep her body a little bit more stretched throughout that.
So if the judges are being strict, they could definitely not only deduct but devalue that skill.
Absolutely. Ooh, she's all those little balance checks. Another one right there. I talked with her coach right before the meet. He says it's not what you can do, not the different skills. It's all about what you don't give away. That's what they were looking for, and so far she has given away a few too many tenths on this beam routine. It's a solid exercise, just when you have someone like Elizabeth Price at the top of the leaderboard who has already got a lead, you can't open that door at all.
Brand new dismount here for Brenna. Round off to a double back.
So Nasi, what's more important, the two bobbles to Marta Caroli or the way that she fought through the two bobbles?
Definitely the way she fought through. You know, I think especially at a competition like this where the pressure is high for her, it's all about fighting through. And this was a new routine for her, starting off with the mount. You don't really see that many girls doing these difficult mounts anymore, and she did. Was supposed to connect it into a jump, but like you said, she fought through it.
So look at the feet here, and you see those things, those talons. They just squeeze that balance beam.
That's a great word.
Dismount. Once again, you gotta land with your chest up. You see how she's down? Depending upon the judging panel, that could be about 3/10 of a point.
Well, the scoring is very tough today, isn't it? Another 14 for
Yeah.
Hamburg in 14.866. And that's a cautionary tale, that score. Be careful, you may be headed in the wrong direction. It's time to shift directions as we will, and continuing with the 2014 AT&T American Cup in Greensboro, North Carolina. Live from New York, it's Saturday night with host Jim Parsons and musical guest Beck. An all-new Saturday Night Live later tonight on NBC. And the judges were really hard on Brenna Dowell. 13.333. Did she deserve that?
You know, I think it was a little bit low, but she did, like Tim said, she gave up so many little tenths here and there. Every single skill seemed to have a balanced check, and you know, not the best dismount as well. Chest was low, step on the landing, but it was a little harsh.
And Sam McCulloch has a pretty big lead, almost 7 tenths. And I guess, Tim, he just wants to avoid the big mistake.
Absolutely, without a doubt. And, you know, he shouldn't have a problem here. But this young man has some lofty goals on his bucket list. Win Olympic gold. Be the best gymnast in the world. And after all, he is a digital age kid. He wants 1 million hits on YouTube. Very nicely done. Another release right here. Super cool. He just is so calm and he doesn't panic. And it's so attractive. Oh my God, I just jinxed him. That was a pretty big error. Wow, that skill was actually supposed to go, he was supposed to not go down to his upper arms.
Now, how much will that cost him, Tim? Is that the same as a fall or be a little bit less?
No, it's not a fall. It's actually, luckily for Sam, that skill is in the code of points. So you'll see it right here. He's supposed to grab the bar and stay up, but he kind of flubs that, and he only does a straddle cut with one leg, which is not a move. So, you know, that really opens the door for the judges right here, because basically he's swinging his body back and then forward while not doing an element, and they could take deductions on both sides of that.
Still smiling his way through it. But the plot does thicken. Meanwhile, last night at the Lucan Cup, a gold medal heartwarming story unfolded. Andrea Joyce has more. Andrea?
All right, Al, you know, Mary Lou Retton, the only woman to win 3 American Cups, but it was her daughter McKenna who stole the spotlight last night, the co-champion of the Nastia Lucan Cup. Such a tight competition. Were you intentionally trying to give your mother gray hair?
Well, personally, my goal was to come in and just hit for 4. I wasn't expecting to even place at all, and it got the best of me, and I happened to win.
And what was it like to be a part of such a close competition like that? It's such a big event.
Well, I compete with Mackenzie Brannon, who I tied with for first a lot in just invitationals in Texas. So I'm used to competing against her, but I mean, this was really close.
And Mary Lou, for you, you're no stranger to competitive drama, but how different is it to watch your kid out there?
Okay, I totally embarrassed myself.
No.
No, it's just, it is so different watching your child. I am so nervous. I just want her to do so well. And I told her, go out there and attack the floor, enjoy this night. But I'm terrible because I usually do it in private, you know, and not on national TV.
She doesn't embarrass you, does she?
No, I mean, I love the support she gives me, but yeah.
All right, well, congratulations on a great night. It was great fun to watch you both.
Thank you.
Al?
I don't know whether to talk to you as a father. I don't know whether to talk to you because you had DNA. Did you ever think that you had gymnastics DNA on your side?
You know, I never thought about it until you guys started bringing that up.
Okay, so and how hard is it for you to watch Pete when he's doing gymnastics?
It's like torture. It's the hardest thing you do.
All right, so Nastia, you ponder that while Shogo Nonomura goes. And McCulloch, a 14.7.
Yeah, and actually, they could have been a little bit tougher on Sam. But this is a place where Shogo, he is tremendous on parallel bars. And he could cut that lead that Sam McCulloch has over him almost all the way if he's perfect. Nice look on everything that he does. Beautiful release. Kicks his legs out. Really an exhausting routine. Same skill we saw from Sam, where he had his problems, no problem there. That was fabulous. Really, really good. There were a couple of handstands where he kind of overarched, but I'll tell you what, this kid, he's a keeper.
More sportsmanship, international sportsmanship here today in North Carolina. To the balance beam, and Ferrari, who was in 5th at the halfway mark. Imagine you come from Italy and your name's Ferrari.
I know, it's crazy, right? You know, I talked to her about her long career. Wow, that was pretty good. She held that a lot longer than she has in training. That strength part right there. I said, so how do you do it? How do you keep going? And she says, lots of therapies. And at this age, I gotta to keep all the pieces together.
She has the Olympic rings tattooed on her neck, so she can show it to you when she wants.
As you said, Tim, it was 8 years ago that she won the World Championships in the all-around, and to see her still out here on top of her game is pretty cool.
There was a time in gymnastics when if you had said someone could win and 8 years later they'd still be an international caliber athlete, they would say that's impossible. Literally, not that long ago, that was the case. Nice dismount, double pike, the hop on the landing, but
Okay, big shot. What did he say?
No, I was just about to say I don't understand Italian, unfortunately.
We've had a little bit of a major shakeup. Nona Muric, it's a 15.566. And that's a big-time green, and he has the lead.
I told you, it was an unbelievable routine. Sam opened that door a little bit, and he leapt through it.
But Tim, take us back to that day in London with the Prince
and
the Princess, and that unlikely bronze medal won by Team Great Britain. Wow, was that good?
It was off the charts. I'll never forget their vaulting rotation. Kristen Thomas going up and just doing one of the most difficult vaults in the world and sticking it, and the crowd going crazy. Daniel told me it was that moment that they all realized we can do this. We can win a medal at home at the Olympics.
I get chills just thinking about it.
Daniel has placed as high as 4th in the all-around at a World Championships. That didn't happen for him in London, and is one of the reasons he's continuing. He says it is fueling his journey to Rio. Very solid routine.
So in what we called segment 6, a major shakeup on the men's side. When we come back, we'll update the standings here in Greensboro, North Carolina. Elizabeth Price is your women's leader representing the United States. This video they're playing on the score. Watch as sports' most storied fields are transferred into sheets of ice so the biggest teams in hockey can settle the score outdoors. The Coors Light NHL Stadium Series, the Penguins and the Blackhawks from Soldier Field on the frozen shores of the lake. Coverage begins tonight at 8 Eastern right here on NBC. Those games at Yankee Stadium were awesome. And family Roethlisberger is all here and looking great. Now John Orozco trying to make it back to another Olympics. Ferrari got a 13.7 on the balance beam, and we stay there. A Romanian-born Roxana Popa representing Spain.
When she was just a little itty-bitty thing, she told me that her mom took her to a gym in Romania, and the coach said, no, too young, too small. And she started to cry, and the coach said, okay, just for one day, you can come in. And then on the way out, she did so well, the coach was like, no, you stay. You come back tomorrow. They made the decision to leave Romania when she was 6 years old. They wanted a better life, she tells me. Very solid.
And not only is the balance beam all about staying on the beam, but you're really trying to get those connections.
We're talking about a woman who's almost 4 points out of this, so she's doing everything out of pride here at this stage of the competition.
Difficult move. You do have to do a full turn in your routine, but that was definitely a lot harder than most do. Great dismount, very hard. 2 back handsprings to a double pike. Probably not the best routine that she's done, but she stayed on, which is most important.
And I haven't seen her do a double pike, actually. She was mostly doing double tucks in the training.
What does John Orozco want to get out of the rest of this day, Tim?
I think he just wants to stay consistent, you know, and have a meet where he does 6 routines without a major error.
Remember those pictures during the Olympics on the pommel horse? They were some of the saddest pictures you want to see.
And he said for literally months afterwards, he was in a state of depression and he could not shake it. This will wake you up right here, though. Wow, great. He said finally he realized that I just have to stop thinking about it. I am tired of feeling bad about it. He says, I know a lot of people out there have lost confidence in me, but I'm going to stop worrying about all that junk, and I'm just going to do my job, worry about my own gymnastics. A little bit off on that, but deals with it well. Oh, my God. Whoa, jeez. Whoa. Totally, his shoulders leaned back. And when that happens, a lot of times your head goes back, and he could not get his hands on his legs.
That was pretty dangerous, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But like I said earlier, he is a cat. Watch, he's supposed to get his shoulders and head go way back. He decides to do it in a tuck position, but he can't even get his knees. He's a little bit off in that handstand, so he's not prepared, but you see that arm buckle a little bit also. And only great air sense and staying with that. Wow.
Watch Mom. not watching, and maybe that's a good thing.
Yikes. But he's
Popa gets a 13.6. Now the leader after the second rotation, and we saw what happened to Sam McCulloch.
yeah, and a balance beam is is a place where it can go wrong very, very quickly.
And right from the top, she has a huge skill.
This is a backflip with a full twist, so hard. What a fighter. Very under-rotated on that. Many gymnasts would have kind of panicked a little bit. Tried to sit up too quickly, but she takes her time.
Nastia, what is she better at than she was 2 years ago?
You know, I think everything in general in terms of the events, but her confidence. You know, I think she comes out here and she feels like she belongs here. And I think that is one of the most important things, especially on this event.
That was great right there. Was injured for so long. First one hip bothered her for months and months. They did a experimental treatment called PRP on it, platelet-rich blood. Fixed it up, and then the other one started hurting. Oh! Oh! And she told me, you know, she's been through a lot of hardship.
Yeah, I know.
When Tim Daggett laughs like that, it's a good thing.
So watch this full twist. She's under-rotated. Like I said, her chest is down, but she doesn't panic. She takes her time there.
With this combination right here, a back handspring 2-foot to a back layout, and you see what the judges are looking for is that open hip position.
And the dismount right here. Once again, Gymnastics 101, fly high and stick the landing, and she does. You know, she's such a great kid. She said that what I want to be remembered for, I said, what do you want to be remembered about? And she says, you know, I've gone through a lot of heartbreak. I've been the alternate on all these different scenarios. I want people to remember that even though I endured that, I always was happy and I always was positive.
One thing gymnastics shows you all the time, every day, is how precarious things are. Last year's champion, Caitlin Ohashi, not here. She's been hurt. And the world champion from the United States in the World Championships after London, not here. She's hurt.
A lot can happen in 1 year.
Absolutely.
As you well know.
Yep.
And we go to Andrei Likovitsky from Belarus. I think it's the second or third time we've seen him today.
Like I said, his where he gets all his points is his line. Beautiful looking gymnast. Toes, knees stretched, good extended handstand positions.
When he's not training, he actually coaches little kids, which great routine. He says has helped him in his gymnastics understand it better, understand his own coach, and really just help him excel in all ways.
Yeah, that happens a lot. When you start coaching, you understand the moves a little bit better.
Some deductions there. Where did you see them?
Yeah, they were there, but it's still a pretty dynamic score. You see that 16.0 maximum score. That's a high start value.
Second Italian gymnast, Carlotta Ferlito. She was in 7th out of 8 gymnasts halfway through.
And I asked her to describe herself to me, and she said, well, I'm a little bit sunny, and I'm a little stubborn. She's actually somewhat of a star in Italy. MTV Italy has a reality show where they're following 7 gymnasts around. And she is, in a lot of ways, the star of that show. I asked her, is it really real? And she says, yes, it's real. My mom is always telling me to keep my emotions in check and don't cry on camera.
Boy, your dad never would have allowed that, would he?
Never. I was just thinking, I can't imagine that every single day in the gym and you're training and the camera watching every single move.
Oh. And remember, it is a full point off now, a fall from the apparatus. She actually made finals on this event at the World Championships, ended up 5th. A very easy dismount. Not the best day for Collada.
So Sam McCulig's lead has fallen away. Can he get it back? The women move to floor exercise. And Elizabeth Price is in front. An update from NBC Sports coming up. For the last rotation, which is coming up, everyone gets reseated according to their position, so Elizabeth Price knows where she's starting. And to not be an alternate at the Olympics next time, the only thing she can do today about that, win the American Cup. Tim Daggett explains why losing his big lead was the best thing that could happen to Sam Mikulak.
Absolutely. You know, he has been in this position before. He is behind Shogo Nonomura at this point, and I think it's the best thing that could happen to Sam because it takes all the pressure off being behind. He needs to go out and win it as opposed to not lose it, and that's gonna work today for Sam Mikulak.
So you think he's going to pull this off?
I think he's gonna win.
So he was hiding there for a moment from our camera, but now he's in full view, which he will be as the AT&T American Cup goes to its moment of truth. Where did his day get derailed, Tim?
Well, really, right from the start, he sat down one of his tumbling runs, and that's a full point off, and he lost some of the bonus that he would have gotten for it. He has been pretty good. Besides that, struggled a little bit on parallel bars. Was very good for him on horse, but it's really his Achilles heel in gymnastics.
Can he make it to a fourth Olympics?
Yeah, he can, actually. And it's funny, somebody asked him, I was at a press conference, and they asked him, well, how do you stay motivated after 3 Olympics? And he pauses and he says, it's a very good question. He has no response. But like I said, he has every medal that he ever wanted or ever dreamed he could have, sans an Olympic gold. And where that could come is right here. In a lot of ways, I thought that he could easily have won 2012 on this event, got the silver. You'll see why. It is a stacked routine. Big release after release. Watch this combination. Can actually do another release right after that. Chose not to today. So aggressive, so clean on high bar.
has been second to Epke Zonderland of the Netherlands for the last 2 major championships.
And Tim, you and I were talking earlier, if the apparatus takes you airborne, that's where he's great.
Absolutely, he is a cat, a flipping and twisting genius.
So in this final rotation, for both.
He's got his blue Michigan bag there, carrying his chalk in that.
Sam.
Yeah.
So now we go to the bottom of the women's rotation. Carlotta Ferlito of Italy in 8th after the 3rd. There's a piece of music that worked.
Absolutely, and that's really what the judges are looking for, the combination of the tumbling, but also the choreography and the dance and the leaps behind it. She didn't have the highest level of difficulty on the tumbling passes, but she really got the crowd into it.
Nastia, I really wondered in Beijing and in England how so few women picked music that would have brought the house down. In Beijing, if you had picked a Chinese song, forget it. If there was a pub song from England and London, forget it. And did it ever come up in conversation at all when you were going up? No, huh?
Not really. You know, I think it's, you pick a piece of music that
What about looking back on it?
Well, I mean, I do have to agree with you. You know, I think a lot of times you pick this music and then you go out there and it's not exactly what you were expecting.
Okay, here's Sergio Sasaki. For him to be at a top level in Rio in 2 years, what has to happen?
Well, a lot of different things. First of all, he needs to get a gym, a real place where he can train. He says that he is now in Sao Paulo. His home is Rio, and he's there because his gym burned down last year. He had thought the Olympic Committee was going to help and rebuild that. So far, nothing really. Needs to be in a little better condition, too. He can do all of the skills, super hard elements, and that right there is a big mistake, obviously. He was supposed to travel over the bar. Really didn't need to jump down there, though.
I was just about to say, now, I remember my dad telling me, no matter what you do on the bars, do not just jump down. You have to improvise. And I probably had 3 or 4 different versions of my routine.
Yeah, that was, I mean, when you do that error, if you swing down the other way, you lose a half a point.
But when you jump down, you lose a whole point.
Absolutely.
By the way, big finish for Hambuchen just a few moments ago. Huge score, 15.666.
I'll tell you, he has had a rough day. He was spectacular on vaulting, like he always is, but has just not looked at the level that he's capable of. He truly is. He's a top 5 guy in the world, and he really didn't look like a top 30 guy today.
Well, he's got 2 years to get his act together. We're counting it down toward the leaders here today to see if they can hold their lead. And Nona Mura of Japan is going against a ton of history here in the event called the AT&T American Cup.
Yeah, historically, as of late, the Japanese have not fared well at the American Cup.
It's our first look at Sophie Shada.
Oh. Major fall there.
A little bit of a rough day for her. Started out on the vault and had a fall, but you know, I think for a lot of these girls, and the men as well, it's so early on in the season. They're really gearing up towards the World Championships in China later this fall.
Let's do some handiwork here. Ferlito got a 13.533 and a mistake-filled start to this last rotation. Sasaki 13.2 on the high bar. And back to the high bar we go for Fabian Gonzalez of Spain.
And actually, the guy that's lifting him is brother to one of the all-time greats, Jesus Carballa, a world champion on high bar. Beautiful. Just barely got his hands on the bar, though. Very light-looking gymnast. He flies, and it looks effortless. That's the same skill we just saw Sergio Sasaki struggle on. He did it very well. Fabian has had a good day here at the American Cup. Beautiful on pommel horse, just a great swing. Dismount right here.
Okay.
Good job.
So now I'm sitting here with two champions of this event. Imagine you're in a top position. What are you doing right now? Right now as you sit and wait, what are you thinking? What are you doing?
You're trying to keep all of the negative thoughts out of your head. You know, it's one of the most difficult things you can do is those negative thoughts, they just kind of creep in, and you got to just slam the door and only be exactly in the moment.
And you were doing what?
Same exact thing. Also, I always did a lot of visualizing my routines, because then when you go out there on the floor exercise or the high bar for Tim, you feel like you've already done it. It becomes muscle memory at this point.
No surprise, a Ferrari that looks good even after some miles.
And this is where she really excels. The first two passes are so impressive right from the start.
Silver medal at the last World Championships on floor exercise. Only Simone Biles, the all-around and floor champion, was better. Oh, awesome. So she's going to try to rebound out of this tumbling pass. Very difficult. Right here. Too much of a hesitation. You see her coach in the background. He kind of shrugged and was like, that wasn't how you were supposed to do it. You know, it's really amazing, like we've said over and over, that she's been able to hold on and keep her body together. And the irony is where she excels is probably the most punishing of events in gymnastics, the floor exercise. It is hard, brutal work.
Sam Oldham.
And he has just looked really, really off all day long. His training wasn't great, but I thought he would step it up, but he has just not been himself today at all. But he's great on high bar, or he can be.
Rio is going to be a huge test for British gymnastics because it's going to be the event that shows what they were able to sustain after London.
He has had a difficult road to 2012. He's competing at the World Championships. He had a fractured collarbone on rings while he was doing a cross. He felt his pec muscle tear, had no time to have it repaired before the Olympics. He said, "I just crossed my fingers."
Just like he did before that routine.
That's a nice way to finish your day.
Absolutely. That's really, I think, the only real hit routine he had today.
Oksana Popa, again, born in Romania, so she gets gymnastics points for that.
She says the thing she likes about gymnastics is that it's crazy. Other girls, it scares them. She says, "I just want to do all that crazy stuff." Well, a good exercise, a lot of power there. She's the reigning national champion for Spain. She did it before, though. In 2008, she won the all-around and every single event. She didn't get any medals, though. She wasn't a citizen yet.
So Ferrari got a 14.633. Oldham a 15.3 on the high bar. And again, on each apparatus, a certain score means good. Sometimes it's not so good. That's why we're here for you. That's why Tim Daggett is here for you. The AT&T American Cup continues. Back at the Greensboro Coliseum, coming up on the final few performances that will determine the 2014 AT&T American Cup champions. Al Trautwig, Nastia Liukin, Tim Daggett, Andrea Joyce here. So as we come down to the final few women, Nastia, where does the drama come from? What's on the line here?
Well, you know, at the very top, there's really no drama. Elizabeth Price, all she needs to do is stay on her feet, stay in bounds, and hit a clean routine. But where the drama is between the second and third place. You have Steingruber from Switzerland and Brenna Dow from the United States, who are really battling for second and third place.
And they're both great on floor.
Absolutely.
Well, Tim Daggett said he thinks he knows what's going to happen. And repeat what you think that is.
I think that Sam can pull this off. You know, people will say I'm crazy, but you know, in the last two major pressure competitions, the national championships last summer, Sam was leading by a mile. He struggled on his last event. The World Championships in Antwerp, Sam was going to get a medal. I think it was going to be silver, and he flubbed up his high bar. So he comes in not trying to give it away. He's got to earn it, and I think he can do it.
Okay, we're going to see in the next few minutes.
At the World Championships, like I said, right here, he was way under on that, and then this is where the wheels came off. He was right in the hunt for a medal throughout the championships.
And his persona was still okay.
Yeah, it was, but you know, he says he just got ahead of himself. He said it wasn't pressure, but he said after he got his major releases done that he wanted it to be over, and you can't do that. He says, I've learned from that, and it's not going to happen again.
Okay, so Mikulik is going through some visualization like Nastia said she did before big moments. Here's Julia Steingruber of Switzerland.
And she's great, super powerful on floor exercise, and very close in the standings, right with Brenna Dowell from the USA. Oh, beautiful. Well, she had that problem on the second pass, but all of the other three were just rock solid.
Julia told Tim Daggett that she was inspired by Dario Colonia, who won 2 gold medals in the Sochi Olympics. He's the only man from Switzerland to ever win cross-country gold medals. He could have won another one if his ski didn't break. So you never know who's watching when you do great things.
Absolutely, and she said that inspired her tremendously in her training and in her quest to continue on to Rio.
So now let's see if all that visualization and the prognostication of Tim Daggett has in the next 90 seconds.
I don't know why I'm so eager to always set myself up for failure. But I believe that this young man can get this job done. And I think it's the exact mentality he needs. He needs to be fighting to hit a set, not trying to stay on top. Starts right off the top. Big release. Very good.
Another nice release. Sam has had an injured back, which has not enabled him to do skills like that, that compression. Such a fighter. All he has is the dismount. It's a double twisting, double somersault. He's a great lander. Oh! A big hop forward on the landing, but that is a hit set.
Hopefully for him, he doesn't lose by a 10th.
So pretty much the only glaring error came at the end. This dismount, just a little bit fatigued, doesn't have enough rotation to make it around, takes that hop forward.
His first word spoken after the performance was no stick.
Yeah.
Steingruber will most likely not move up with a 13.933.
Well, this is it for Elizabeth Price, and just like she flew high on the uneven bars, she definitely flies high right here on the floor exercise, starting from the very beginning.
And it is off the charts high. She's gonna do what's called a double twisting, double somersault, and she looks like she could do it with her body completely stretched in the air.
Bill Strauss, her longtime coach, right under her elbow there. Watch.
Brand new routine for Elizabeth, too.
Oh, and so close to that line.
No flag.
Well, Elizabeth has had her share of adversity, but she's gonna get a prize today. Right there, you're looking at her. That is the 2014 American Cup champion right there.
What is she thinking right now, Nastia? Good thoughts or bad thoughts about what just happened?
Absolutely great thoughts. I think she's probably very happy in silver, but I don't know if I think she knows that she's done it because she was in such a far lead coming into this final event. She knew she just needed to stay on her feet.
And there's her sometimes emotional coach, Bill Strauss. What a great seat he had to watch that.
Absolutely, he was right there. Both of the Strausses have been in this business for so long. So many kids have gone through the Parkett National Training Center in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
And Sam Mikula got a 14.9. What does that do to your theory?
I think it puts pressure on Shogo Nonomura. I mean, no question, He told me that, Shogo told me before the meet began that high bar is his weakest event, and if he wants to accomplish all of his dreams, he needs to get better on high bar.
Elizabeth Price, a 14.5 floor exercise. Judging's been very tough today. John Orozco on high bar.
His biggest release comes right off the top. Does this with a full twist. Very difficult. Another release right here. Had that scary dismount on his last event, parallel bars. Oh, wow, that was a great fight. I didn't think he was going to make it over. Here comes his dismount. Full twisting double layout. Got a little funky in the air and that hop on the landing. But he'll take that one.
And a cautionary 14.5. One last gymnast to go. And it was the fellow American going into second place who had to worry about Steingruber of Switzerland. Maybe not worry is the word right now. She pretty much just has to go out and do her thing, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes. She's definitely quite ahead of the rest of the field. So just like Elizabeth, stay on her feet, stay in bounds, which is the most important thing. She needs better than a 13.666 to move into second place.
And that is very doable. That's a big deduction. Both feet were out of bounds. She took that step.
And now we wait.
Just that second tumbling run, the double layout.
Good job. That energy, right?
She just kind of careened off the floor a little bit.
Now for the men, a moment of truth. Nonomura, Shogo Nonomura needs a 14.466 to take the lead and become the first international man to win this event in 4 years.
And it can happen, without a doubt. He has been the cleanest gymnast in the competition thus far, and he is battling history. As we said, though, the Japanese have not fared well at this competition of late. And that was great, right to a handstand. But right there, he is off the bar, and Sam Mikulak has won the American Cup.
Let's go, come on. Come on, Shogo.
And we are going to buy lottery tickets, Tim, right after the show.
Oh, golly. That's too bad. It was far, but I don't know why he didn't get his hands around the bar. Such a promising future for this young man. Of course, the reigning king of gymnastics, Kohei Uchimura, is from Japan. And this kid, though, has a lot of the same qualities that we see from Kohei. Just needs to get a little better on high bar, without a doubt, as he told me. Well, he had it right in his hands and he let it go.
So not the best performance here, but you can't help but wonder if he is looking ahead towards the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo.
He jammed his fingers on the bar. That's what happens a lot of times. You're so far away, it's like slamming your fingers. So the handstand was awesome, and this is a laid out hecht, but he's just a little too far. You know, I don't know. I don't know why he didn't get his hands around the bar. Let's see right here. Just, well, what happens is you have on that leather strap, there's a thing called a dowel in between it. And if you don't get that dowel completely over the bar, you just can't hang on. And he did what we call, you ping. You ping off the bar. And when you do that, your forearms can go into a massive spasm, and sometimes you can't even get back up again.
Now, Brenna Dowell is going to be very fortunate. She gets a 13.866, so that means by 2/10 she will finish the way Marta Caroli wanted her women to finish, and that is 1-2 for the United States. Here's Victoria Moores from Canada.
And this has to be my favorite routine of the entire night.
Beautiful artistry, but she also packs a powerful punch. She does a double twisting, double layout. It was named after her after the 2013 World Championships right here. Big power, step out of bounds.
Well, Victoria Moores could, with a great performance, move into second place. We'll have to wait and see how that step out of bounds costs her. We go to Andrea Joyce with Elizabeth Price.
And Elizabeth joins, Al, an impressive list of American Cup champions. At this point in your gymnastics career, how important is this title?
This is a really important competition. I mean, it's the American Cup, and it's a huge international meet, and it's awesome that we got to have it here in the U.S. But just to say that I get to add this title to a list of many, it's pretty cool. I mean, I hope to keep making the list bigger and bigger, and this is just an exciting competition.
And after everything that you went through in 2012, coming so close, being the alternate to the Olympic team, How has that changed you as a competitor? We saw you out there fighting.
Yeah, being so close to the Olympic team back in 2012 definitely made me like really hungry for more meets, and I really want to be on more teams. And now that I've been to all these World Cup meets, I'm definitely happy now. I mean, I have all these meets that I've done, so it's pretty cool.
You've seen what these past winners of the American Cup have gone on to do. How does this set you up for the rest of the season?
Well, I know that a lot of great gymnasts have won this competition, so it's great to say that I'm one of those girls. Hopefully I can soon say that I've won even bigger meets than this one.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Al?
Okay, Andrea, sometimes we look for big, huge words to describe the day, and sometimes you just have to say, if you're Elizabeth Price, it's pretty cool. We'll hear from Sam McCulloch, who does pull it out in the end. He's your American Cup champion, and we'll hear from him next. The AT&T American Cup is brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. So we take a step toward Rio today in Greensboro, North Carolina, and Elizabeth Price was ahead of the line by a lot over Brenna Dowell, her teammate, and Julia Steingruber. We don't see a lot of great Swiss gymnasts. That's a nice result, and I hope Dario Colonia and her connect, and I'm sure they will. Now the men's championship. A fall on the last performance on the high bar by Nona Mura is the difference, and it turns out to be a big difference. And Daniel Purvis of Great Britain finishes on the podium. Here's Sam McCulloch with Andrea Joyce.
Still a come-from-behind victory for Sam McCulloch. And Sam, your thoughts on how it all played out in that final rotation?
The final rotation was intense. There was a lot of nerves going in, big crowd, big stadium. And I just wanted to go out there, hit my routine, no falls, and then let the pressure sink in on the other competitors, and worked out in my favor.
So you have NCAA titles, you've got national championship titles. How does this American Cup fit in? How does it compare?
I mean, this is the international stage. This is my senior year as a Michigan gymnast, and to be able to win another American title outside of the NCAA season just feels spectacular, and I'm excited for what else is to come.
Okay, congratulations and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now see a quick summary of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think with that title, Elizabeth Price is definitely looking towards the road to Rio, and she wants to have a spot on that team, not as an alternate, and she did a great job right there.
And she impressed that lady right there, which says it all. Marta Caroli, she is the architect of USA Gymnastics, the women's team, so dominant. Sam McCulloch, he did exactly what he needed to get this title.
So congratulations, Elizabeth Price. Congratulations, Sam McCulloch. Up next here on NBC Sports from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, it's the Honda Classic. Rory McIlroy in the mix. It's the Honda Classic next. A reminder, NBC's next telecast of gymnastics is May 5th with the Pacific Rim Championships from British Columbia. For Tim Daggett, Nastia Lukin, and Andrea Joyce, this is Al Trautwig so long from Greensboro, North Carolina. This has been the AT&T American Cup.